Ta-da! Introduction.
Welcome back, boat sleuths. I'm not sure what your plans are if you've got a boat and it's all nasty and it's trashed out and you think, man, I really got to get online to find out how to get this thing fixed. You could stick around a while. If you do, I'll show you how to get stuff like this. This didn't take all that long. It was pretty easy and any monkey can do it. I assure you, I'm a monkey. I did it. And I'm going to show you how to do it. If you stick around, I'll show you how to clean all this up. All this. It's gross. And it doesn't get any better on the other side. There's no reflection on the back. There's the sun and nothing, just nothing. So if you're interested at all in learning how to turn this into this, well, stick around. If you're not interested, there's a couple other guys on YouTube that show you all sorts of cool products that they guarantee are going to make your boat look awesome. Even though they switch products every couple of weeks, because there is no product that makes your boat look awesome just because it's a product. Anyway, I'll talk to you in a little bit, hopefully. Pieces. The plan. So the plan is this. I'm basically going to do a little section right in here, boom, and then I'll do this section over here and I'll blend it into what I've already done to show you if you do a section, what you should do is start in one point and end in another, and then you don't have to blend anything. But this is YouTube, so I'm just going to show you what I want to show you. Anyway, so I'll do this section here. I'll start up here because I got a ladder. I'll work in this little general area, then I'll come down here, work on this area, and then I'll come back up here and tackle these. And if you can learn how I did what I show you, that's it, you're done. You know how to handle almost any boat that you ever come across. If it's painted, it's a little bit different, but if it's made with fiberglass and it's got gel coat over the top of it, you're fine. So pay attention, try not to dawdle with your memory. Grab something to drink, grab some snacks, because this is going to take a little while. This will probably be about an hour-long video. So be prepared, that's all I'm saying. All right, well, what you're going to need for this, and I suggest this like big time, grab yourself a rotary buffer. Don't try to do this work, especially if you've got any sort of medium to heavy oxidation. Don't try to do this with a random orbital or forced rotation. It's just, you'll be there for months. The pad, a little bit dirty because I used it yesterday, so you see this blue, it came out of the boat. I'm going to use this little guy, which is called a spur tool. If you want, you can look it up online. We're going to start with our most aggressive compound. This is like sand and mud, and this is like dust and mud, the heavy cut. And then we're going to finish with perfected EXAC. Now, if you didn't write down all the product numbers, it's okay, because they're in the description, and I'm not going to respond to anyone who asks me questions about that anymore. I'm just going to refer you to the description. It's pretty cut and dry what I use, and then I show you how I use it. So don't expect me to do your homework for you. Just, you know, get up there and do it yourself. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is clean out my pad, like I said before. I need to make sure that I'm all plugged in, which I'm not currently. Okay, so cleaning out the pad, I'm going to spin it up to its full potential, about 3,500 RPM. I'm going to squeeze the trigger and then lock the machine in. So then I'm taking my trusty little spur tool. I'm going to face this away from me, so you see it spins that way. So I'm going to roll this tool off of the edge that's flying away from me, and just go back and forth. Give it a little extra love on the edges. I'm going to flip it over, and because it's spinning like this, I'm going to reverse my hold on the spur and spin it like this. As it's spinning clockwise, I'll just kind of run it back and forth, and again, hit the little edge, and then I'll turn around, slow it down with the spur, and fluff it up a little bit. You'll see how that goes right about meow. And that's it. that's pretty much a clean pad. All right, let's get back on the boat and do some work. Or, I mean, pretend to do work. It's all movie magic, you know that. I just edit these things and have somebody else come back, do the work for me. All right, here we go. So, like I told you before, I'm going to be using the Super Duty first. This is the mud mixed with gravel. This is the analog of this. Very, very aggressive. It can get through almost anything. You can take off decals with this. You can take out scratches. You can take out dings. You can obviously take out oxidation. That's not really a concern or a question of mine. So I put the product right on the pad, and I'll show you how much I use for the area that I'm going to be using. Your boat will be different. The amount you use depends on the boat itself quite a bit. It also depends on the humidity and the temperature of the area that you're working in. All of these things are factors that can decide or help destroy your day. If you use too much, it becomes kind of messy. If you don't use enough, it scratches a lot and it doesn't finish out the way you want it to. So right now I'm just going to drop the bottle on the ground because I'm lazy and I don't want to go back up and down the stairs. All right, so that's how much I've got. A pad that you've already used once, you don't need to use as much, but because this one's dry, I need to put a little bit of extra effort into it. So I'm going to spread this crap out in the area that I'm going to be working on, and just make sure to cover absolutely everything. Now, once it's all spread out, I'm going to be doing a cross-cut pattern, and you can kind of see that in what I've done already while spreading it out. Some of these lines go like this, some go like that, some go like this, some go like that, some go like this. So each one is perpendicular to the other. And as I'm going back and forth, you'll also notice I'm going slow. This is set at 600 RPM, slowest setting that the buffer has. That's where I want you to stay until you get really good. If you get good, speed up if you want to, but in the meantime, just know that this buffer can hurt you. It can hurt your boat. Just slow down. There's no need to rush. Anyway, so now that I've got it spread out, I'm going to cross cut. You'll see what that looks like. Okay, now you can see we've taken off a little bit of boat. Don't feel bad, she's got more to give. Now, after you've done a little cross cutting, and it depends on the boat. I mean, every boat's going to be different. It's going to require more or less aggression going into it. This one, because the surface is so chalky, I know that I have to get through it. So while it's wet, I don't mind going slow and doing maybe 2 or 3 passes doing this cross cut thing, because each time I do it, I'm taking off more and more boat. The more boat I take off, the more chance I get all the oxidation out. The more oxidation I get out, the longer the surface that I leave behind lasts. So while it's still wet, yeah, okay. Now the fun part. I'm going to go flat, keep it absolutely flat. I might go up on edge a little bit when it gets to an edge, like on this port light, and up here against the gunnel. But that's just because there's some contoured areas that I need to shove the tip of the buffer wheel into to make it do what I needed to do. So outside of those couple areas, go flat, keep it flat, and work this until the product is almost gone. looks pretty good. And we've taken off a ton of boat. So I'm going to switch the pad over to a dry side and see if I can clean this up. All right, well, there's the first step, and even this side, the clean side, cleans up a little bit of what was left on there. Now, the heavy cut or Super Duty is not intended to get this to showroom finish. It's just supposed to knock the ugly off. And it's done, well, I mean, you can see my face, so maybe not all the uglies off, but you get my point. The next step is to take some heavy cut. Now, I could wipe this down and I could inspect it and clean it and make sure that I got everything, but the sun, unfortunately, is just past the line of necessity. I don't have, there's a shadow here, so there's no light bouncing off of this. I did bring a bright flashlight, which if you're going to do this in overcast days or where you don't have bright light, you want at least a minimum of 1,000 lumens, and then you want something that's more of a spotlight than a flood. You want the most amount of light you can get in a small area, and you want to check that reflection. If you see holograms and swirls, obviously keep working. If you don't, huzzah. All right. So this wheel, this side of the wheel is fairly clean, relativistically. So I'm going to use the next compound available to me, and I'll show you how much I put on of that. I've already shaken up these bottles, but if you're just now starting out, this is the first part of your season, you might want to shake out your bottles and make sure that they're all loosey-goosey on the inside. Nobody likes particulate settlement, especially a boat detailer. All right, so you can imagine that this is going to go very similar to what I just did. Here we go. Spreading. Okay, one more note. When I'm working the compound, you might be wondering how much pressure I'm putting on it when I'm holding it. Literally just enough to keep it where it's at. This hand's usually just guiding the tail, or vice versa. This hand's just holding the head flat, and this hand's just kind of guiding the angle of the machine itself. Very little pressure. You hardly ever have to put pressure on one of these. The fact that it's spinning and creating all that friction with a compound designed to dig into and dissolve and soften up gel coat, you really don't have to let yourself do the work, let the machine do the work. It's a lot easier that way. All right, let's get into this. It's pretty much the same thing. Once I've spread it, I got to do the cross cuts. Once I do the cross cuts, I go flat. Here we go. All right, now let's just go flat. Have fun. Something to keep in mind while you're doing this kind of work. let's say I had a section of compound that started here and went to here and went to there and went to there. So I put my compound there, I spread it out, and I do my section, but there's little borders where the compound is pretty much fresh and it hasn't been manipulated or massaged. Where it's sitting and allowed to dry, it will etch itself into your boat. And on a dark boat, it's dramatic. On a white boat, you won't see it really until the sun's directly bouncing off of it into your face. So while I'm working, you might think that I'm doing a pattern because I go left to right and then up and down. No, there's no pattern. You work all in my head. I'm thinking I need to work this corner as much as I work this section, as much as I work this corner, as much as I work this. So anything I do here in my head, I stack up. And I think, okay, that was like 8 seconds here. I need to spread 8 seconds across everything else. Or maybe I went really aggressive here. I need to now go really aggressive everywhere so that all the compound is worked evenly so that when I finish, I don't have a section that looks good and a section that looks kind of meh because I left it just unmolested. So keep that in your head. Now, for you guys that are DIYers and you're not a professional detailer, if you're doing this on your own and you get to the second stage, you have two choices. One, in the back of my mind, I know that I'm going to come back over this with perfected EXAC, which is going to give me the best finish possible. So if I don't do the best job right now on the medium step, it's kind of okay. The least aggressive compound I have, and I've shown videos on this, is very aggressive in the right hands, with the right tool, in the right conditions. So if this isn't perfect when I'm done with the medium step, it's okay to me. If you're a DIYer and you want to just stay at the medium step, or maybe you just started with the medium step, your job is to work this until you can barely see any of it on the surface, okay? If you do that, you'll achieve a finish almost as good as with perfected EXAC. So if you get to this point and you think, well, I'll just do what Lee did with the Super Duty and wipe it off and, it should look great. It might, but it's your boat, so go hard. Go hard. That being the case, I am a boat detailing professional, so I am just going to take my time and wipe this off and put some perfected EXAC on there because, well, I can. See you in a sec. All right. Now, I didn't grab a rag, so sorry. Let me come back. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. First boat of my spring, so, I've forgotten more than most people have learned. About this, nothing else. Nothing else. All right. So balance everything precociously on top of the ladder. Nothing bad can possibly happen, right? Oh, what? This looks pretty. Not bad. Again, I'm sorry that you have to see my ugly mug, but at least you get a sense of what this can look like with just a little bit of work. Ta-da! Okay. Well, as good as that looks, because this client's a good person and has waited and been patient and given me all the breaks in the world to get his boat done, I'm going to do a really good job. So now I'm going to use the Perfected. This all goes pretty much the same as all the other compounds that I use. It just makes grosser noises when I do it. All right. I'm also going to throw this one on the ground. Oh, by the way, when I throw them on the ground, I spin them so that the tip doesn't land in the dirt, because nobody wants that. All right. I'm not going to explain this. I'm just going to do it. You've already gotten the explanation. Ready? Here we go. Now, to my untrained eye, I use slightly more compound than I should have for this particular area. It's okay. I'm just going to keep cross-cutting until it doesn't appear whitish on the hull, all right? Now, I admit on a white boat, seeing the difference is, it's a nuanced skill. Sorry, it is what it is. Okay, for the most part, it's all not whitish. Now, again, I'm not explaining anything, sorry. You'll notice also, if you've been watching any of my videos, that I'm going slow for this entire process. I'm not speeding up. If you think that you need to speed up, don't go above 1,000 RPM. Trust me, just stay slow. Slow works, it's steady, it's consistent, it's safe, which is kind of the most important thing. Safe for you, safe for the boat. Go slow. Alright. Flip the pad over to a clean side. Maybe we took some more boat off. I should charge for making boats more efficient now that they're lighter. And even that took off a little teeny bit of boat. I'm gonna go grab a flashlight and show you how bad this looks in what's going to be affectionately known as simulated sunlight. Okay, moment of truth. So here's a reflection off of a section that I haven't done. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. And then there's the reflection. You might see some marks from where I wiped it on and off. I don't know what you're seeing. I assume it looks kind of like what I'm seeing. So there we go. Now the next step to this is to clean it, strip it of all the oils left behind by the compound, and put a wax on there. Except for in this case, the wax is not going to be wax like has been used for the last 60, 75 years in boating. It's going to be a nanotech polymer-based product that should last about 3 years. We've talked about it before. If you're interested at all, check out the description. It's all in there. All right, that's all I got for right now. You guys enjoy yourselves. I got a whole bunch of boat to do. Pieces.
Well, I hope you learned something. If you didn't, send me a message. I'll answer your questions.